Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world today, Australasia or the Northern Hemisphere, where this recording is going out to many of our clients and our owners, as well as interested parties, interested investors, corporations in Dubai, going into America and Texas and Denver, even Las Vegas. So we're actually going to be featured in a program, a cryptocurrency promotion in Vegas in 6th of September. But look, my name is Richard Butler, in case you don't know who I am. I'm a property developer. I've been developing property since 1980. I got a job as a property developer salesperson in 1980 and mainly involved in coastal developments. And then in 2008, I discovered Vanuatu. I went over there for a weekend and fell in love with the place, and the rest is history, as they say. But look, I'd like to show you a little video on Malekula Island, which is what we're going to be talking about today, to give you an idea of how nice it is, and also to give you an idea of the waterfront and the beachfront land that is there. So I'll just get this video going for you now, and you'll be able to look at that and get a good idea of what we're going to be talking about today on our project, which is basically called Malekula Island in Vanuatu. Look, I've got the wrong video down there. Would you believe that? But anyway, look, I don't know if you can still hear me, Phil, but my voice is coming through, I hope, on this. And this is an aerial shot showing flying around the farm, Malekula Island, Espiegel Bay. You can see where the 10-acre lots are going, and then you can see the beach and the residential component there as well. But I will start this other video as well to give you a bit of an idea of the development and the concept of development. Also, me standing on the beach. So I'll start this one now and see how we go. See if this one works better. Hopefully it will.
6:30 in the morning at Espiegel Bay on Saturday morning on Malekula Island. And I've just been for a swim, and the water temperature was absolutely beautiful, and it's the middle of winter. So just to show you how absolutely drop-dead gorgeous this part of the coastline is.
Well, that gives you a bit of an idea, and I'd like to bring in Phil now. Welcome, Phil, to the show. He's a specialist in his company's called Sustainable Irrigation. He's in South Australia, in the town of Adelaide, which is known as the driest state and the driest continent in the world. I think it is, Phil, isn't it? Is that what they?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you're the man that actually takes it from being the driest state in the world to being possibly some of the greenest paddocks in the world down there in Adelaide, with the work that you've done with the, over the years that you've done with the vineyards, etc. in South Australia. Tremendously well known for its wines. I love the wines from down there. But Phil, welcome to the show, and thank you for your participation today. It's a while since you've been over to Vanuatu. You went over there before the pandemic. And of course, that's really affected us quite well. It's affected everybody in the world, really, hasn't it? But we were closed for 828 days, no planes in, no planes out, no ships in, no ships out. You were affected in Adelaide, of course, too, by the pandemic.
Yeah, and probably not as bad as some of the rest of the country and the world, because we had some pretty tough measures implemented by the government early, with
Yes.
lockdowns and restrictions. So we came out the other side pretty well, I think. So I think at the current status, I think we're only sort of seeing somewhere around about 500 cases daily, which is pretty good compared to a lot of other places.
Well, Vanuatu basically is situated, east of Australia, north of New Zealand, and we've obviously, we were closed for 27 months, but we virtually had no pandemic until February, March of this year, and then we've had about 12,000 cases and 15 deaths. So basically, we've got off quite light, I think, in relation to some of the other island nations around the world, which have been affected greatly by it, But Phil, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, if you wouldn't mind, and how you got started as an irrigation and expert in agriculture in Australia?
Growing up, grew up on a property, and had moved through and did a trade certificate, did engineering, had done quite a bit over the time, and moved into landscape gardening, and realised that we're in a dry state and we need a more efficient way to water, and ended up finding the subsurface geofabric irrigation, which was being made currently in Sydney. And I started using that probably about 15 years ago now, and it worked really effectively, saved 60% water. There's so many other benefits to it. And eventually the company who was making it stopped making it. So then I decided 5 years ago to continue that, that we needed to make it and get it to vineyards and all these places that use exorbitant amount of water. And it's more beneficial to the plant because water gets straight to the root zone. So I, along with another friend of mine, developed the machine that we make the product ourselves here in South Australia. We source all the products from Australia to make our product. Hence, one of the guys, Alan, who I ran into at a birthday party,
Yes,
you that I do irrigation, and you were looking at somebody to irrigate your proposal on Malekula, and which I got pretty excited about because it's a good opportunity to show people what my irrigation could do in a remote environment down those paths. Unfortunately, when I ventured there to see what you had proposed, and it was a really good opportunity, I think, for everybody with what you were doing as a project initially, like before, like what's happening now. But I think moving forward, we'll still have that relationship that we hopefully can produce a smaller scale, and then eventually the larger scale where you want to go to have a farm and grow produce and export internationally to other countries and locally as well. And using our irrigation, we can help in your drier times and help with less damage to irrigation systems with the volatile weather that they have over there on Malekula with the cyclones and storms and stuff, because our irrigation's buried a couple hundred mil under the ground. So you're not going to have any problems with any damage or anything like that. So
perhaps I might bring you up to date a little bit too, because we sort of went to ground for 27 months because there was nothing we could really do. I mean,
correct.
Two of our staff members over there, Stanley and Lance, were there, and they kept talking and working with the families on the farm. but we really were, stuck because you couldn't export anything. The cost of I'll just put a picture up of the island so people can see where they are. You can see Port Vila there, and Malekula Island is just going a bit up the page to the north. You can see Malekula, and then Norsep is the actual airport itself. But the problem you had is that the only way that you can get into Vanuatu basically is by plane or by ship. And the benefits that happened, Phil, since you and I have been there, the new container wharf is now complete at Luganville, and cruise ships can come in there as well. Here's a picture of the completed completed wharf, and that costs $88 million to build. And people said, "Oh, no one will ever use it." This is what the cry that you hear from newspapers. Well, prior to the pandemic, we had 245 cruise ships booked to come into Vanuatu. That's basically a cruise ship every day and a quarter calling into port, and they would be calling into this port. And that would then, of course, you've also got the containers. But after you unload your containers there to get them to the island, this is our new barge, which has just started work a couple of weeks ago. And it's a massive barge, as you can see, with the size of the crane. And you can actually see a 20-foot container just poking, little blue box here, poking itself above the line of the boat. Yeah. And of course, this obviously means that from Luganville, we can get down to Malekula Island, very, very quickly. And of course, it could land and actually, because that's a beach landing craft, so it can land on the beach. And there's some pictures there to give you a bit of an idea. You can see the village on the top left-hand corner there, and also the shop that we built for them, and also the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and the land in front of it with the coconut trees on it. That's our residential development just in there. Yeah. And that beach is the one that I was walking along and swimming along before. And the fishing there is just absolutely fabulous, to be frank with you. And I don't know. I think you would have had some good fish when you were there, I think.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I actually taught them how to cook potato chips on a barbecue.
Did you really?
I sliced them up thinly and then cooked them on the barbecue. They were very, very happy.
Yes. Well, you would have met the families, and they're Seventh-day Adventists, which the Seventh-day Adventists. They don't drink alcohol. They don't smoke cigarettes. They only eat good food. I'm sure there's someone there that has a smoke or a drink. I'm sure there is. But on the whole, they are a very country type people.
Very amazing. They're very good people.
Yes, and you met everybody there in a go, and they would have been quite pleased to see you. To give you ideas, the people watching the show at the moment, we've got an incredible situation. We got a approval for our farm, which is 2,000 acres, for 1,960 times 1 acre lots, and you can see there the actual approved plan that we have on the property. And then down the bottom, you can see a little white gap. Well, that's the land that we have for the village, and you can see there the beginning of the first residential component. And in yellow, I've marked the 10 1 acre lots that we have cleared and all ready to go. This is, part of the people. There I am with Stanley and Gibeon and a few other people the day of signing all the agreements for the project to go ahead. And then our surveyors were over there surveying the land for the residential resort development. And then, of course, along came COVID and closed everything down on us. So now we've got to start all over again. We've got, fresh concepts and ideas, and looking for new clients to come in and work with us on the property. But I've got a good picture here, Phil, that you wouldn't have seen before. This is a picture taken I'm of Google, but you can see all the clearing that we've done there. We've done over 200 acres of land of clearing. It was quite amazing how much was done. And surveying and pegging and getting ready for planting. And then, of course, along came COVID, and basically provided us with with a stop type situation, not being able to go forward with actually doing the development. And of course, you were there when we had the bulldozer working, and up the top of the plateau, and also building the road going up to the plateau.
Yeah.
People don't realise how much work has actually been done putting this all together over an extended period of time. And the clearing was just unbelievable. And then, of course, we had to not only clear it, but we also had to get rid, burn and chop up all the timber and the waste that was there. We called the bulldozer Betty. We call her Ugly Betty, as a matter of fact. Then the surveyors had to come in. That's one of the surveyors doing all the road work. That gives you an idea of the bulldozer clearing of what it had to clear. And then, of course, we come to the situation of there's the blocks cleared with the soil. They were all ready to go. Phil was over there to do the irrigation concept and plan. And then, of course, along came COVID and basically shut us down. But now we're back into the market again, and we're starting to promote it. The surveyors will be back over there soon. And but there's been a tremendous amount of work that's been done over this period of time, wasn't there, Phil?
Yeah, like that's a 10-acre area just there. I remember. Yeah,
Yes.
they were clearing that when just before I left last time.
Yeah, well, there it is there. And that's the 10 acres all cleared, all ready to go. And then, of course, we also, that's the river where you found the water.
Correct. I had to swim in that river. That was very nice.
Yeah.
That was about a 5-hour walk to get into there.
Yes. I've actually got the plan here, Phil, for you to show people.
Right, yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe you could explain what the concept is of the solar farm and the irrigation farm, how it all works, and what your concept and your plan you put forward. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So initially, when I first went over there, we were actually looking to find a good water source to be able to irrigate the properties, to be able to grow the fruit. Initially, it was red papaya. And then we've had other discussions that we could probably intercrop at the same time. But to be able to get the volumes of water that we needed, there are a few rivers, but some of them are very challenging to be able to get to and to be able to draw from, because they are seasonal. And so then we found out there was an existing water source, which is right down the bottom of that picture, which says Water Grove. It's just a gravity-fed that comes basically out the side of the hill, and it's quite a good source. So from that, we were looking at building a dam just below that section, and the water could run out of that into a dam. As you can see there, we're going to build a 2.5 megaliter dam, and speaking to other consultants on the project, finding out which ways we could get power to be able to run pumps, to be able to pump the water the distance we needed to. We found out that we could actually put a solar farm on top of the dam, and floating solar panels, which would then go in turn into some batteries, which would store enough energy to be able to pump 24 hours a day to be able to get the water to the farms, which are about probably, I don't know, I think it was about sort of 7.5 k's away, but then we had to pump uphill about 900 meters. But along with that solar farm, which would have had enough energy to not just run the pumps, but run pretty much all the little villages along the way, and provide them with electricity and running water, which currently they do not have, as it's just they do have a line from that water source, which is just a blue line, 25 mil, which runs across those river valleys and down to the village where the properties are. If anybody else up the line takes water off that, at the end of the line you get no water. So to be able to go and provide a water source and electricity for these villages is was really exciting to be able to do that.
Sorry,
And
guys.
no, it's all right. And then we could, the people there, when you're giving them a concept of something like that, it's they were pretty excited to be able to do that. As to when I was there, Richard mentioned before, they built the shop for them. They'd just got their solar fridge come freezer in there the week that I was there, and there was excitement galore that they could actually have a freezer and a fridge, which is something they didn't have before, because ultimately, they had no power. It was all just 12-volt battery power. So, then unfortunately we were in some pretty good planning stages to be able to get things up and running. But good old COVID came in and stopped everything pretty much dead in its tracks. But it's good now that we've hopefully moved through that and had a bit of Richard's had a bit of a rethought to the plan, and there's the bore being got drilled just at the end before COVID came.
The board's we got water at 14 meters, and the islands, and Vanuatu is an emerging nation where the average wage is only $3,000 a year if you've got a job. So it's quite a challenging place. And it also has no income tax, corporate tax, death duties, or capital gains tax. So the government has to rely on a VAT tax of 15% and import duties and normal charges, that they charge. So and also grants from other nations of the world. So when we put this down a couple of years ago, there was only one bore driller in the whole nation, and it was actually owned by the government. And you have to get permission to put down a bore. And we had to pay to have the bore brought over by barge to the island and pay for the pipes and everything. And it was quite expensive to have it brought round. And eventually it did about I think it did about another 6 or 7 bores while it was there for the government. But now, as time has moved on, we have a commercial bore driller over there at the moment, which he'll bring his machine over, and he's now doing bores for about $1,850 set price for 18 meters with PVC encased. So it's now a lot cheaper than what it was a couple of years ago, and of course with this new barge, that helps a heck of a lot as well. So all these things are sort of happening as the pandemic came through, and people are looking at relocating. And one of the things that we're doing as well on our, which I don't think I've mentioned it to you yet as well, Phil, one of the things that I've done as well is I've gone back to the government and said, look, we have to change our plans because the cost of logistics has gone through the roof. Containers are so expensive. Air cargo went up 300%. So for a product like the red papaya red flesh, which is, it has a limited shelf life, it can spoil. So we have to, be really assured that we can get our product, to market. And we're only 2 hours flight to Australia, but 8.5 hours flight to Hong Kong. And the Pearl Delta, where the Chinese want all our stock. Everything that we can grow, they will buy from us as far as the papaya is concerned, because we're an organic seed nation. So it's an organic product. And I was just in the supermarket the other day, and I can't believe what we're paying for fruit and vegetables here in Australia at the moment. It's gone through the roof. And anything that's organic, it's gone double through the roof. It's just amazing. Yeah. So, I mean, we look at trying to sell this fruit ex-farm gate for $1 a kilo, and the trees can produce 80 kilos per tree per season. They're quite prolific. And each red flesh papaya weighs between 750 and 1.25 kilo. So the average, you could say, is a kilo per fruit. At $1, you get 80 pieces of fruit off every tree. well, then you're looking at $80 a tree, and we're looking at putting 400 of these trees on every block, which means that it's 400 times 80. It's 32,000 kilos a season is possible. And we're looking to sell it at $1 a kilo ex-farm gate. Now, that could go down to 75 cents, but it could also go up to $1.50. The average international rate at the moment is somewhere between $1.60 to $2.10, depending on which part of the world that you're basically in. But for those who don't know the red flesh papaya, that's what it actually looks like. And it's a much better fruit to eat than the yellow flesh. Doesn't have that smell that the yellow flesh has, and it's incredibly popular in Asia as a breakfast food. And of course, it's also a health food as well, I might add. So that's what we're trying to do. And then Phil's come back and mentioned to us that we should look at other crops as well. And I just hope I haven't lost him there. Let me just bring him back in. Yeah, I hope I'm still learning how to do this, because I used to have Lance help me do all the IT work, and I'm having to do it all by myself now at the moment. So it's a bit of a learning curve, but I'm not doing a bad job, I think. I was going to ask you, Phil, what other products? Tahitian limes, of course, is very popular. That's a great top shelf income earner for agricultural farming. Our island, of course, is cocoa. It's known for Cocoa Island, and it's also one of the most fertile islands in the whole of the South Pacific, because we have a volcano on Amby Island, which puffs out smoke, and that smoke, volcanic smoke, comes over and lands on our island, and it's a fertilizer. So we have a natural fertilizer.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Volcanic ash. It's just, the ash is really good fertilizer.
Yes.
Just going on to just from your other crops, your Tahitian limes, your cocoa. There's things like coffee, which is it's a fairly easy crop to grow and into crop with other plants, because it doesn't take a lot of labour to excise. And as you know, I think on Tanna, the island of Tanna, they grow coffee, and it's actually some really good coffee.
Yes.
I really like my coffee, and I had some Tanna coffee while I was over there, and it was really, really good. So it's something that you can command. It's pretty profitable when you can export, and if you can go into there's lots of coffee that's not grown in a manner that it should be, and people that pay more for an organic coffee.
Yes.
It's almost twice the price of normal stuff. So if you can intercrop that, and there's many other things. Another one would be vanilla beans, which is another thing which is quite it's very prolific. People use it. It's not a lot of it around, but once again, the price for the consumer to be able to sell it is very profitable for what you need to do to grow it. And there's plenty of ways to intercrop in that region, and I guess diversity is when you're starting out afresh is very, very good to have. You can add or subtract what you're doing as to what the market basically demands.
Well, we have our horticulturalist who had been living on the island for 12 years. He has, when the pandemic came through, he left the island, and he's only just been back for a couple of weeks. So he's doing a report for me on cocoa, and he'll be presenting that to me shortly, which I'll be incorporating. But we do have 100 lots up on the top of the plateau, which titles are all out, ready to be sold to a large corporate investor. And we sell them for $50,000 USD each. That would bring in $5 million. From that $5 million, that'll give us the funds for the irrigation and solar system. As you've heard Phil just say along the way, it actually provides water and services for I think it's 5 villages, isn't it? Is it 5 villages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
five villages along the way.
Yeah. So it has a humanitarian concept, and also we would then be able to have the solar, the power system, the machinery we require, and as well as that, of course, be able to set up a educational facility for teaching people how to, young Nevan people, young island people, how to be farmers of this type of product. And one of the things, Phil, that I haven't shown you yet is that we spoke to the government about putting a 400 square metre lot inside the 4,000 square metre 1 acre lots. And the idea was to basically put these little 1-bedroom bungalows in, and these are being imported from New Zealand. And they're totally sustainable, and the cost factors on this one is quite cheap as well. So it could be set up as a farm stay, and so people can come and learn about the farming, and of course the fishing. Well, there's a picture of the boys who have gone fishing in the bay. That's the catch. I mean, you'd love to get a catch like that at Adelaide Harbour, wouldn't you, or Sydney Harbour? That's absolutely brilliant. And of course, you've also got the fabulous, the fabulous ecotourism, natural wonderland that Vanuatu is for fishing and swimming and touring around the place as well. The islands, the diving is just absolutely fantastic. You can see in the water for such a long period of time, and then of course you've got the cultural heritage that comes as well. With the island, with Malekula, it's got a very strong cultural history, very interesting, and bushwalks, and so overall, it's it's a fabulous place to be able to get in a car and go touring, and of course we also have our company over there, our real estate company over there, which is called Melanesian Waterfront Real Estate Limited, which can does all the contracts and sets everything up and helps with the promotions. And we'll start doing these promotions again soon, because now that we've got the border open, it's only just a little bit over 6 weeks since the border opened up. It takes a while to sort of get back on your feet and start again and get people showing interest. But look, Phil, did you have anything that you might wanted to add before we finish about the irrigation and about the project, or any of your concepts or ideas that you'd like to sort of share?
It's like, once again, it's like an exciting time to be able to hopefully, with everything finished and over, and you can get some traction with getting stuff set up, and look forward to getting back there and being able to work and make the project come to fruition. Not only help like Malekula, the villages, to be able to get a little bit more, I say, sanitation on their land, as well as provide a income source for them and investors to be able to move forward with, because it's a very untouched part of the world, and with the amount of land and the opportunities are there to be able to help these people grow as a nation, as families, it was a great opportunity. And as I said, the first time I went there, it was just amazing. The people were really, really good, but to see how they still live from day to day without running water, without electricity, without just the basic, like they still have long drop toilets. I still remember I'm saying to people about this project that everybody was queuing up to line up to go to work on this project, and people were going, I'll come with you. And then you show them photos of what you were living on, and like sleeping on a grass mat on a concrete floor, and long drop toilets and stuff. And people were just like, they were bugging out like flies, saying like, no, I can't do that. But it's just a perfect opportunity to be able to help people as such, because I think it's not only just give them water, irrigation, those sorts of things. It just I guess the South Pacific as a whole has been unnoticed, but there are so many opportunities there to be able to help those people grow within themselves.
Well, it's funny. It's not funny, but what you said is 100% correct. And one of the concepts that the company's come up with, is that if we develop, and we are developing, we have got the titles out and we are advertising it. If we promote and sell the residential blocks along the road, we've got 8 of them which front onto the road, and we have a holiday villa designed for those as well. Which, when we finish this, I'll play that. I tried to play it, get it ready before, but I brought it in too early. And it actually has a video made of the upmarket villas that we want to put on the 8 lots. And we've got a builder from Australia who specialises in steel frame manufacturing, and has, in actual fact, of all places, Sierra Leone. He went to Sierra Leone and he built 55 of these 1-bedroom villas on the beachfront in 100 days. He took his staff over and they used all the local people, taught them all, some of them had a background in building, and taught them all what to do, built them to lock up, and he built 55 of them in 100 days. Just absolutely amazing. So yeah. I've got him in line to come over and work with me on putting these bungalows into the front of the resort, which would then give people, a place to come and stay, and they will have all the modern facilities of solar power on the roof, solar battery inside, a bio system for the sewage, very modern toilet, rainwater tank, and of course we've also got the bore as well. And then of course when you come through with the watering system, we would then be able to tap into that as well, have a big tank there to store water at the same time. So Phil, we're running out of time. Thank you very much for attending today, and I will be showing this or sending this to some of the larger corporation people who are looking at coming in on the 100 lot sale. And so you might get a phone call from one of them. We've got the 137 page appraisal document that we're sending out to people.
Yep.
And this is now, we're back in the market, so to speak. We're back now that you can fly there, now that we can talk to people, now that the gates are open. We've got the government funding the $25 million US upgrading of our tarmac to the same international status as Port Vila, who gets 300,000 visitors a year. The $19 million River Hydro Power Station, which will be finished in 4 months, and the $30 to $60 million they're spending on the roads. Contracts are signed. The road builder is now into the second stage. I think there's about 6 stages of road building that he has to do. So eventually our project is going to have mains power, tar seal road, and water. And we're certainly in the right position to market and sell at a price that people can afford. So, Phil, thank you for your time today. And I'll now sign off, and if I may, I'll try and play that last little video, which the people who are watching, it actually has on the end of it, it has the plans for the what we call the loft homes for the project as well. So I'll just get that ready. I'll say goodbye to you now, and you can reach out to me with the phone numbers. And let me just get this going. I really do miss having my IT man working with me. I can assure you of that. But thank you for your time today, Phil, and anybody who's watching, you can reach out to me on my phone numbers, and we look forward to talking to you the next time we have a live cross.
6:30 in
no
the
worries. Talk
morning.
soon. Thank you.
But at Spiegel Bay on Saturday morning on Malekula Island, and I've just been for a swim, and the water temperature was absolutely beautiful, and it's the middle of winter. So just to show you how absolutely drop dead gorgeous this part of the coastline is.